Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day, regardless of this red day here for Solana. Oh, goodness gracious, it's not looking so good. We're going to talk about some fib levels here and kind of see what's going on, of course. I'm not trying to make light of this, obviously, if you're in the red, but you shouldn't be, because the last 2 or 3 days I've kind of been letting you know that we've been under the cloud. There's no reason to take a long position, and if you haven't already taken profits, you should have done so. This is not a told you so, but I kind of already did too, right? So again, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Hope you can learn something today. And what we're going to do is talk about potential liquidation levels to the downside. I think we swept a majority of the important ones there. And if there's possibility for a bounce here, we do have this previous resistance level. It was a tentative resistance at about $99. So we're going to see if that can hold here today. We'll take a look at that and a few other key factors here, okay? So if you are new to the channel, just know I love teaching people to trade, and I hope you can learn something today, all right? That being said, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the back-end data here first and just kind of get an idea of what's going on, right? Because we don't know liquidation, we don't really know much at all. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and reload this bad boy. Always does this first time of the day. So we'll switch our colors out, kind of see what's going on. So what we want to look at is, I think there was a really strong concentration in the low 100s. Was it 102, if I recall correctly? It was an area of contention I mentioned yesterday. Please be careful if you have leverage at 102. There it is right there. 102 swept very hard. Okay. So good news is there's not a tremendous amount below the current price action here. But bad news is if you were in that position, you kind of got liquidated. So again, don't use large leverage. Don't use massive position sizing. If you do, protect your investment, right? Adjust your stop loss as you take profit. Don't get greedy. You're going to see a lot of people in this market showing that they've held for weeks or months, and they're just the best thing ever. I'm the bee's knees. I got in at $20 on Solana, right? That's great. That doesn't do us any good now, right? The important thing is that we pay attention to how to minimize our loss, maximize our gain. I do talk about that a lot in my trading academy, but obviously you don't have the time to look at that right now because you're watching this video. Regardless, let's go ahead and take a quick look. This is the last 12 hours. We see heavy concentrations of longs at $96, and we also see some shorts at about 102, roughly 103 actually. Big surprise, they swept 102 shorts just above that recent support level. Okay. That having said, strong concentration as well at 107, but we're not going to focus on that just yet. Understanding all this here really just tells us, simply put, that $96 is probably the likely target, or 103. Okay, so 96 and 103, we're pretty much smack dab right in the middle of that. So what we want to do here is kind of take a look at a few key factors. We can start with the daily and work our way down, okay? And typically when we look at the daily, we want to look at candlestick closures. So we're 3 red days here into this continuation. We could see this be the bottom and tomorrow green day. It's common for coins to progress 3 days in a row and to turn around. It's roughly 72 hours of continuation in the same direction. We could see that here from Solana. However, we may not also, because we came up and we had a strong rise there. We were overextended leading into this push. Good chance we could see the price action continue to pull back. It's best to expect that and then to not be as disappointed, right? Because again, as the volume starts to dissipate, we're starting to see this volume coming down. The price is going to come with it. Okay. You also got to recognize Bitcoin's in a precarious spot. I personally feel Bitcoin's going to continue to drop. We're in a bad situation there overall, and a lot of coins are knee-jerk reactioning to Bitcoin pulling back. Okay, Bitcoin dominance is coming down, altcoin dominance is coming down, everything is selling off. Big surprise. We got taxes here in about 3 trading days where people are trying to take profits before year end, kind of maximize their benefit there, so to speak. That has a lot to do with this too. And holidays are notorious for pumping and then dumping shortly after. So I'm not surprised to see this here. However, all that being said, let's move on to the MACD. MACD is diverging. We're not fully diverged yet, but we had a strong uptrend. Has to result in a downtrend. Okay, at least inevitably. It's not to say Solana is going to drop significantly, but we got to prepare for it. All that as well, we can kind of see here that stochastic RSI is swinging down. We lost 70 on the RSI. We're in, I would normally say, a sweet spot between 50 and 70 on the RSI, but it's not great when you lose 70. It just implies we have more room for downtrend. Okay, 50 is our next support level. That gives you an indication we're less than halfway there. All right, so again, some bearish signs here for sure, but if we take a look at the moving averages, we're still above the trend lines. Okay, so that is a positive contributing factor, but is it a reason to take a trade? Definitely not. Okay, in other words, we don't just look at our SMAs and be like, oh, I'm gonna get in because we're close to an SMA. No, it really just implies that we're still on the right side of the tracks. This overall trend, which has been pretty monumental, is still continuing up in the overall sense, even though it's pulling back. It seems weird, but it's definitely the case. That's why we look at indicators as well as moving averages to ensure we get kind of a well-rounded understanding of things. With everything kind of seeing that on the daily time frame, what does that mean for us in the 4-hour? Well, we've lost 2 moving averages in the 4-hour. Also not great. We can see here we're under 50 on the RSI, which we have been since last night. I talked about that being a determining factor of considering a short and to not consider a long. I emphasize not taking a long. I don't believe I said to take a short, because honestly that's just, to me, a little too risky to short Solana, but hindsight's 2020, right? If we look back at it, we should have done that. But hey, that's how it goes. You miss opportunities all the time. It's perfectly fine. Me, I don't feel like a missed short is a missed opportunity, personally. I more so have more regret on longs than I do shorts. But regardless of that fact, we're coming to this point where we're getting closer to 30 on the RSI. So the price continues to progress lower. That would be a case in point where I might consider reevaluating and taking entry. Okay, so I would say 12 hours from now, we might have a situation where the RSI is lower. And if the money flow index is still lower there, or still low, that's usually that pivot point where we want to consider taking entry. Again, we look at a lot of other factors. We don't just take entry on that one thing, but had a lot of success buying the RSI dips and the money flow index dips on the 4-hour specifically. Okay, but I don't think we're there yet. Truthfully, we're definitely not overextended. We're slowly progressing down, and this is just a slow bleed from a coin that has very tremendous amount of profit for a lot of people. Okay, think about it. The most profitable coins in the market, do you think those are going to be the first or the last things targeted when Bitcoin sells off? They're going to be the first, right? Now, again, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin sells off and everything just drops down hard. But we can see pretty clear that the market's responding poorly to Bitcoin dropping below that support at 42.5, 43,000. Okay, so to me, this is kind of a sign, a line in the sand letting us know that we've broken bearish and there's no other way to describe it. Okay, we just got to kind of come to terms with that. Does that mean the price cannot recover and instantly bounce up tomorrow? No. It's probably going to shoot back up as soon as I upload this video. That's just how it works. Cryptocurrency is crazy like that. So all the more reason to use low leverage, low position size, and to ensure that you protect yourself so you're not in a position where you're going to feel left out. Okay. Having said all of that, we're going to summarize with the hourly, and just know I'm going to go ahead and post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. So just know, it'll look something along these lines here, where you can kind of see what my thoughts are. I'll update the fibs and all that stuff here in a minute, but for right now, let's just focus on one thing here, and this is the cloud, ultimately the confirmational factor that I look for. There is literally not a single sliver of evidence that a long position should be viable right now, and that we should consider a long position. Okay, so please get that out of your head. Am I saying should you take a short position? No, I'm not saying that either. But the truth is, we should probably expect the price to continue lower, because Bitcoin is more likely to do so as well. Okay, so again, if you kind of prepare for these things here, I think you're going to be much better off. And just there's a lot of different schools of thought here, but if we take a look at big picture stuff, even though Elliott Wave is kind of telling us it wants to continue higher, and this could be our ABC pattern here, there's a good chance this is going to be invalidated. So I do not trust this here. I personally feel that we're going to see the price action try to stabilize here. Let's quickly look at the volume here and just kind of see where we're at. We zoom out a little bit. Tremendous amount of volume at about 113, and then a secondary amount right there at about 74. Obviously, that's not important because that's something we want to worry about later. But for right now, there's not a lot of support in this range here. Okay, so we got $94 to $98 as a potential area where the price action could accumulate. So my speculation is that we might see the price action come down as low as about 92 as a worst case scenario. That's kind of where we're at there for the moment. So all in all, not a fantastic situation, but it is what it is, right, folks? So again, make sure you take some profits while you still can, and ensure that you are you're just using good position size, right? Because when we talk in our community about this, it's important to recognize that we're in good shape, and you can be in good shape if you use good risk tolerance and you're not just arbitrarily throwing money into coins. Okay, have a game plan in place before you take the trade. All right, folks, that's all I got for you here today. I know it's not like the best news ever, but I just got to always shoot you straight and let you know honestly how it works. And at this point, further downside would be expected. There's a decent chance we get a bounce at $98 to $100. There's a previous support range there, but I'm still not super sold on that. We got to wait for confirmation. So if you're not waiting for confirmation, you're not trading correctly. I would recommend, of course, as well, if you are considering a new exchange, no KYC or VPN here for this exchange. They're phenomenal too, by the way. No KYC, no VPN required, and of course they have some awesome benefits too. If you use my link to register before your end, you have some significant rewards there. Be sure to utilize that if you can. Again, thanks Bitunix for an awesome opportunity for our community members, because again, we have a lot of US, Canadian, and other countries too that got restricted on KYC here for a lot of other exchanges. So it's really cool to be able to have that alternative. Anyways, thanks again, folks. Look forward to seeing the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.